Today I'm going to talk on delta cycle, but before I begin with this concept, I would like to remind you about the introduction part of delta system that we have seen in the classroom, and we have discussed the major depositional systems. There are two major classes of depositional systems. One is dip fade systems, and the second one is strike fade systems. So dip fade systems are those which run from the mountains or from higher ground towards the coastal plain and deposit their sediments perpendicular to the coastline. And the best example is fluvial system and also delta system, which extends further into the ocean where the deposition takes place perpendicular to the coastline. The other type of depositional system is strike fade system or just strike system, where the transportation and deposition of sediments takes place parallel to the coastline. Now that happens in case of wave dominated and tide dominated deltas. If you can recall, the formation of barrier islands, it is due to the longshore drift currents, and these barrier islands are deposited parallel to the coastline. Also the tidal flats and lagoons. So these environments are part of strike system also. So although barrier bar, tidal flat, lagoon, tidal inlets, ebb tide delta, flood tide delta are part of a delta system, these environments are also studied under strike fade system, since the deposition of sediments here is parallel to the coastline. So when we begin with the strike systems later on, we are again going to see these environments in detail. So that was about the association of these two different environments, and therefore delta is a transitional environment. Since it is at the boundary of continent and ocean or sea, you get to see characters of both systems, dip fade system as well as strike fade system. Now coming back to delta cycle, uh, the classification of delta that we have already seen, it is based on these three important parameters that you can see on the screen. The kind of depositional process, so it involves the dominant energy, whether it is river, tide or wave, or the shape of the sand bodies, whether the sand bodies are elongated or the uh, coastline is arcuate or it is eroded in the form of estuary and sand bodies are perpendicular to the coastline, or distribution of facies in lateral and vertical direction. So based on these three parameters, the classification of delta system is derived, that we have already seen in a triangular diagram as well as in a tabular form. So when we see an ideal delta, it shows these three phases. First phase is progradation, that is in case of a river dominated delta, where the river builds up towards the oceanward side in the form of long distributary channels, and it is a constructive phase. Progradation means movement of land towards the ocean. So progradation of delta is a constructive phase. Now what happens is, over the period of time, a delta distributary channel gets choked due to its own sediments, and there is no further way for the transportation of sediments and water into the ocean, and it finds a new path due to avulsion, that is migration of channel. Now here this is migration of distributary channel, and it finds a new favorable and easy path to transport and deposit the sediments carried by the river into the ocean by abandoning the previous channel or previous delta lobe. Now the abandoned delta lobe, where there is no more deposition going on, it starts undergoing erosion by the action of waves and tides, and you might get to see local transgression of sea towards the landward side. Since the river is no more dominant in that region undergoes redistribution of sediments by waves and tides, and that is nothing but the beginning of transgression of sea towards the landward side. So abandonment of delta lobe is destructional phase in case of delta, and building up or progradation is the constructive phase. So according to the concept of delta cycle, it is consisting of two phases, constructional phase and destructional phase, and these two phases may alternate in the history of delta in cyclic manner, or they may occur at the same time in a single delta. So it may happen that a delta undergoes construction, then a destructive phase starts. Again, over a period of time, that delta may become constructive delta and may turn into destructive phase again. Or it may so happen that within a single delta, you might get to see one delta lobe undergoing destruction and other delta lobe undergoing construction at the same time simultaneously. So these two phases are seen either in cyclic manner, or they operate at the same time in two different delta lobes in a single delta. Now see what are the characters of constructional phase. So this constructional phase or period is also a phase of active delta building, where the delta is prograding towards the seaward side, that is the lateral movement is dominant, the river is dominant, and there are two major processes, that is progradation of delta front and pro-delta, and agradation of delta plane. So progradation means lateral or sideways movement of deltaic sand towards the sea, and agradation is nothing but vertical accumulation. So vertical accumulation of sediments will give rise to development of delta plane, and lateral or horizontal transportation and deposition in the form of progradation will result into formation of delta front and pro delta, as well as development of delta distributary channels or formation of crevasse plays and levees is also a part of constructive phase of a delta. Now the second phase, that is destructive phase, it starts or initiates when the delta lobe is abandoned, and you know why abandonment of delta lobe can happen, and this involves or this starts when a river is diverted to a new course, or avulsion takes place in a delta distributary channels, or the source of the sediment of a basin gets exhausted. There is no more sediments available in the river or at the source to deposit into the ocean. In that case, the ocean may get dominant and you will see destruction of delta and formation of estuary. So as I have told you previously, both these phases may occur at the same time. One lobe may undergo construction and other lobe may undergo destruction, or these two phases may alternate with each other in the life of delta. Now see, this is the example of Mississippi Delta, where you can see this delta lobe marked as B, which we have already seen, Atchafalaya delta lobe, and these delta lobes here have been abandoned. So these abandoned delta lobes of Mississippi Delta are undergoing destruction due to the waves and tides, and you won't be able to recognize these delta lobes here. But the one which is active right now through this delta distributary channels here, the Atchafalaya delta lobe, it is undergoing construction. Here also you can see one more delta lobe which has been abandoned and undergoing destruction. So if you remember, this Mississippi Delta consists of 7 delta lobes as per the old theory, and one of these delta lobes is active and undergoing construction, and others are undergoing destruction. So this is the example where two phases are operating at the same time. Construction as well as destruction is happening at the same time in different delta lobes. Now this is one more graphical representation where you can see with increasing fluvial dominance and sediment influx, you might get to see formation of a bird foot delta or lobate delta, and with increasing dominance of marine influence there could be a wave dominated cuspate delta or braided estuary type tide dominated delta. Now this is one example of delta from Kutch basin in Gujarat. I have visited this place and you can clearly see this cross section of a delta here. Here you can recognize the different parts of a delta. This is the pro delta shale, which is consisting of fissile shale. You can see the fissility and layers of shale, and the above is delta front sand. Again here you can see the difference. The pro delta shale below, which is black color, fine grained, and delta front sand on the top. So there are different structures which are associated with deltas, sedimentary structures, which you have already studied. If you remember this is the characteristic feature of a delta, which is Bauma sequence, where you get to see a characteristic sequence of sedimentary structures and grain size. So these deposits, the Bauma sequence is deposited in the form of turbidity currents. If you remember, in the last semester you have studied deposits of debris flow, grain flow and turbidity flow. So deposits of turbidity current result into this kind of sequence of sedimentary structures, which is called as Bauma sequence. Apart from Bauma sequence, deltas may show other sedimentary structures like load and flame structure. Now this you have seen in field. So what happens is, when the sand is deposited on pro delta mud, the sand being heavier sinks into the mud below, giving rise to formation of loads, and the pro delta mud being lighter and plastic intrudes into the overlaying sand in the form of flames. So the load and flame structure that you have seen in Karnataka, it is due to the seismic activity, and therefore it is called as seismite in that case. Here the load and flame structure which is formed is due to the pressure of sand overlaying the pro delta shale. Here again you can see the same thing, load and flame structure. So these structures are characteristically seen in deltas. So this is all about delta cycle. Next time we will begin with the next topic as per your syllabus.